Good morning, students.
Good morning, ma'am.
So, any doubt in the previous class portion? Can you able to see the PPT screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. The previous class we were discussing about C character set, constants, variables, and key tokens, C tokens, keywords, identifiers, variables, and constants. So, in this class, we are going to discuss about expressions using operators in C. So expressions means we have different types of expressions. We can make use of all the mathematical expressions in C program to perform scientific and mathematical operations. So the various expressions and operators that we can make use in C are, say, the arithmetic operators we can use, relational operators, logical operators, assignment operators, increment and decrement operators, conditional, condition checking operators like greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, bitwise operators like shift left, shift right, shift 2 bits, shift rotate. So like we can bit, say in a byte we have 8 bits. Only one bit we can shift and we can do the operation, and we can perform some special operators also. We can make use of the special operators like not exclamatory marks and other dot operator. So those operators and expressions we can perform in C. An operator is a symbol that specifies an operation to be performed on the operand. So operand means the variables. Operators means the various operators like arithmetic operators, plus, minus, division, multiplication, modulus. The data items that operates acts upon are called operands. So the operators will be applied on variables, or we'll call it as operands. If you say C equal to A plus B, here A, B, C are operands. An operation indicates an operation to be performed on the data that may yield a new value. So we'll perform some operation. After execution of the operation, we'll get some result or new value. An operator can operate on integer, character, and floating point numbers. So the various operators, we can add 2 integers, we can add 2 characters, we can perform string concatenation, and we can multiply 2 floating point numbers. So the operators can be integers, characters. The variables may be of any type, integer, character, and floating point numbers. So the various operators and in arithmetic operation, what are the operators we can make use of? Those are used to perform mathematical calculations like addition, subtraction, multiplication, and multiplication, division, and modulus. So the corresponding symbol is plus is used for addition. Say for example, 2 plus 2 is equal to, we'll get the result. Here plus is operator, we are using assignment operation. After adding the operands, we are getting some new value called result. Minus is this hyphen symbol is minus, asterisk is multiplication, slash is used for division, and percentage symbol is used for modulus process. Say for example, operators and arithmetic operators example. So they given you an example program. Here we are performing the various arithmetic operations. Say a plus b, a minus b, a star b, a slash b, a division modulus b. So we have the header file stdio.h. It is mentioned in the pre-process statement. We are using main program. We like to perform the operation on two variables a and b. We assigned some initial values, a equal to 40 and b equal to 20. So all the variables are of integer type. So we have taken the two constant values, and to store the result, we use integer variable add, integer variable sub, div, and modulus. So the expression is mentioned as it is. The results are stored. To display the results, we are using printf statement. So we are addition of a and b is percentage d, because add is integer type. So we are using percentage d, and we are using slash n to display the result in a separate line. The same way, percentage d sub, percentage d multiplication, percentage d division, and we are using slash n to perform the operation in to display the result in separate new line. Yeah. So we'll parallelly we'll check how it is running.
Ma'am, we cannot see the screen.
Yes, yes. We'll share with you. So to check how it is working. Can you able to see the screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So we taken the program as it is. We added the program. Now we'll see how it is working. So we declared the variables. These are the executable statements, and we are displaying the result. The header file and pre-processor statements are added. In function main string slash. What is the error in this? Print.
Ma'am,
Yeah. Percentage d add. We already mentioned 342.
ma'am, we should declare the int variables inside int main.
Previously it was like that only. Primitive. Should appear in green color. What is the problem here? Addition, printf. What is the problem? Why it is giving error message?
Ma'am, the same program is working in my compiler, ma'am.
Yeah, maybe some configuration mismatch. So we'll check it out with the other editor. But it should work. It's giving some error message. Int main. So we'll try with another compiler. Okay, the same way we can perform the screen is visible to you. So the same way we can perform relational operations. The various relational operations are used to compare the values of two variables. Those operators provide the relationship between two expressions. So we can compare, say the x is greater than y, or x is less than y, x is greater than or equal to y, x is less than or equal to y, x is equivalent to double equal to y, x is not equal to y. So like this, we can compare the two variables or constants by using the relational operators. Say the relational operators here, we are like to compare m equal to 40, n equal to 20. We like to check m is equal to n or not. Say we'll print m, and if we will compare m is equal to n. If this condition is true, using if statement we are checking if m is double equal to n, exactly equal to n or not. If both are equal, then it will print the messages m and n are equal. Else, if the condition is false, it will display the messages m and n are not equal. So the relational operators are used to check. In this case, m is 40, n is 20. It is equal or not? So what will be the output?
Ma'am, one question regarding the last one, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, if we are adding div in the compiler, we are showing that it's already a existing keyword in C. So can that be an issue for the program not being executed?
Which word?
Div, div.
Yeah, div is a mathematical operation. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. But all of them are black except div is blue. It's showing
Okay.
that it's a given keyword. So because C is like in series from top to bottom, can
Yes,
that be
yes,
stopped?
yes, yes, you are correct. We used div is a keyword, so we'll make it as division, div. Then we can check. Yes, if you differentiated the color, then but it's still giving. Maybe that may be the correct. We will check with the another compiler.
Yes, ma'am. It's
Yeah,
showing the result if we add divs or anything else.
yeah, division. If you use, it will give you the correct result. We'll try. We'll have the DOS editor. What compiler you are using? Turbo C or OLX?
Program is only, ma'am, online compiler.
The same, huh?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You tried with the division, it's working, huh?
Yes, ma'am. Divs and also in printf, ma'am, we have to change it. Div. I'm just typing divs instead of div.
Okay, okay, yeah. It's yeah, because it was in a blue color, it is a keyword.
Yeah.
We should not use any keyword or identify keyword to use as variable name. So if here in this case m is not equal to n, so it will say m and not. The answer will be this portion will be executed because m is 40, n is 20. It is both are not equal, so the result will be m and n are not equal. The same way we can perform logical operators. So we know very well the logical operators are and, or, and not. And is equivalent to logical multiplication, or is equal to logical addition, not is equal to logical complement. So those operators are used to perform logical operations on the given expressions. The result may be either 1 or 0. So after doing the, after evaluating the expression, the result will be true or false. If both, if the operation is, expression is correct, the result will be 1. If the expression is false, the result will be 0. 1 means true, 0 means false. The various three kind of logical operations are logical and the respective symbol is double address operator and the cell. And the logical or is used in two vertical sections, and the complement is exclamatory mark. Say here we are comparing this. Usually the logical operators are used to create mixed expressions. Say we have one expression, logical expression, x is greater than 5 and y is less than 5. Two expressions we like to compare at a time. So to combine these two expressions, we are using logical and. X is greater than 5 and y is greater than 5. So if both the expressions are true, this expression is true as well as this expression is true, then only the result of this and will be true. If any one expression is 0, false, then the result will be 0. Both the expressions are 1 means we'll get 1. If any one expression is 0, if x is, this condition is false, then the answer will be 0. Or if this condition is false, the answer will be 0. If both the conditions are false, 0, 0 is 0. So 1, 1 is 1, 1 and is 1, 0, 0 is 0, 0, 1 is 0, 1, 0 is also 0. Here in logical OR, we have the expression x is greater than or equal to 10 and y is greater than or equal to 10. Now we are applying the logical OR. So if this expression is true, if any one of the expression is true, the answer will be 1. If both the expressions are false, then the answer will be 0. So the condition is 1 and or 1 is 1, 1, 0 is 1, 0, 1 is 1, 0, 0 is 0. Or table, truth table we will make use. So the same way, logical and not is just the complement. We are using the exclamatory mark. The if this expression is true, this expression is true. we'll get the answer as 1. Then not 1 means 0. So the complement of the complete expression, it's a mixed expression. We have one bracket, another bracket, and one more bracket to combine x is greater than 5 and y is less than 5. The whole expression result will be taken and the complement will be, or invert will be applied. Then we'll check for the result. Say for example, we are getting the three values A, B, C using, because all are integers, we are using access specifier at %d, and we are accessing the integers through the address. So in the particular address, the value will be stored. Then we are checking, applying the expression A is greater than B. Then we will check A is greater than C. Both the conditions are true means, then we will apply the AND operator. If A is greater than B and A is greater than C, both are 1, 1, then the answer will be 1. If any one expression is getting 0, 0, 1 or 1, 0 or 0, 0, the result will be 0. So this is used for checking the greatest among given three numbers. If A is greater than B and A is greater than C, then A is greatest. Else B is greater than A and B is greater than C, then C is greatest. Or C is greater than A and C is greater than B, then B will be the greatest. So this program is to find out the greatest among given three numbers. In this case, the C will be the greatest. C is greater than both A and B. And we have set of assignment operators. The symbol used for assignment is equal to symbol. So this equal to is just assignment, and double equal to is logical assignment. It is used to assign the result of an expression to a variable. The equal to sign is used in an assignment operator. Say in simple assignment operator, we will say sum equal to 10, just equal to. And in compound assignment, if you say sum plus equal to, so the content of sum as well as 10 will be added. If the initial value is 10, the same as this is equivalent to sum equal to sum plus 10. So one variable is implicit, another value is 10. Plus equal to means the result plus the new value will be added. The same way we can use minus equal to. So sum minus equal to 10 is equivalent to sum equal to sum plus minus 10. The same way star equal to is equivalent to sum equal to sum star 10. So we can use, we no need to repeat sum once again. So the same way sum slash equal to is equal to sum slash 10. The same way sum address of equal to is equal to sum address of 10. The same way caret symbol also we can make use. So the caret symbol is used for square. Say this is equal to sum into sum to the power of 10. Or the same way if you say sum caret 2 means it is equal to sum square. Or if you say x equal to x caret 2 means x square. So we can make use of a total equal to 0 and I variable. Here we are using for loop. For I equal to 0, I less than 10, I plus plus. So the process will be repeated from while I equal to 0, one time it will be executed. While I equal to 1, it will do, because the condition is I less than or less than 10. So the process will be repeated from for I equal to 0, I equal to 1, I equal to 2 up to 9. Once it reaches 10, it will come out from the loop. So by using this looping structure, we are adding the total equal to total plus I. So we are adding the numbers from 0, 0 plus 1, 0, 1 plus 2, 2 plus 3 plus 2. Like that, we are sum of first 10 integers. 0 to 10 integers are added. The program is to find out the sum of first 10 integers. The next operator is increment and decrement operator. The increment operator is plus plus. It may be prefix or postfix. The increment operators are used to increase the value of the variable by 1 or by 1, and the decrement operators are used to decrease the value or variable by 1. So say the pre-increment is plus plus I. So we are incrementing first the initial value is incremented first. Say if I is initially 0, plus plus I means the value is incremented by 1. 0 plus 1. Post increment means the value will be taken first, then the value will be incremented. So I plus plus. And the same way pre-decrement minus plus minus I, value of I is decremented before assigning it to the variable. So the first value will be decremented first, then it will be assigned to some other variable. Forced decrement I minus minus, value of I is decremented after the assignment is made to the variable I. So the value of I will be first assigned, then it will do the decrement process. Usually we'll use this increment and decrement process in looping structures. So the increment operator is plus plus variable name or variable plus plus. Decrement operator is double minus or minus variable name double minus. Example is plus plus by I or I plus plus or minus minus I or I minus minus. Say here we are taking only one variable, initial variable I equal to 1. You will check for the condition using while is a keyword, while I is less than 10. So the initial value of I is 1. Now 1 is less than 10. 1 is less than 10. The condition is true. Then it will enter into the loop. In while loop, first we will check the condition. Then we will execute the statements followed by while. Say the main opening and closing bracket is here, and this particular opening and closing braces is for this while loop alone. So if the condition is true, the statements followed by while loop will be executed. If the condition is false, it won't execute anything. It will come out from the while loop. So in this case, the condition is true because I is 1 and 10 is greater. It will print the value of I, then it will increment the I plus plus. So next time, now I is 2, the loop will be repeated until the condition is true. Now I is 2, 2 is less than 10, so it will display the 2 value. Then it will increment to 3. The 3 is less than 10, it will display the value as 3. So the process will be repeated and up to 0 to 9. Once it reaches 10, the condition is false. 10 is less than 10 is false. So it won't execute the loop, it will come out and it will execute the closing of main program. So by using the operators, we can perform create conditional operators. A conditional operator return one value if the condition is true, and returns another value if the condition is false. So we will check for some condition. If the condition is true, then a set of statements will be executed. If the condition is false, it will execute another set of expressions. This operator is also called ternary operator. So the ternary operator is question mark colon. Question mark colon operator is called ternary operator. Say we'll check for the condition. The syntax of conditional operator is we'll check for the condition. If the condition is true, then the statement followed by question mark will be executed. If the condition is false, then the statement followed by colon will be executed. So the conditional operator is called question mark colon operator. So we'll have question mark as well as colon. It's equivalent to simple if else statement. So we'll check for the condition. If the condition is true, the statement followed by question mark will be executed. If the condition is false, the statement followed by colon will be executed. Say in this case, if A is 10, the condition is false, then it will display the value as 1. In the above example, A is greater than 100, 0 is returned, else 1 is returned. This is equivalent to simple if-else statement. If the condition is true, we will execute a set of statements. If the condition is false, we will execute the statements followed by else statement. Say you created a program using question mark colon operator. We have two variables, x equal to 1 and y. We will check y is equivalent to, this condition will be, we are checking for the condition, x is double equal to 1. X value is 1 and here 1 double equal to 1. The condition is true. Then If the condition is true, the statement followed by question mark will be executed. The condition is, so it will display the result as 2. The condition will be checked. If the condition is true, the statement followed by question mark will be executed. If the condition is false, the statement followed by colon will be executed. In this case, x is 1, x1 is double equal to 1. The condition is true, so it will display the result as 2. The same way we have bitwise operators. So the bitwise operators works on bits. So we know very well in every byte we have 8 bits. We need at least 1 byte, that is 8 bits, to store any number from 0 to 9 or A to Z. So every character in the ASCII character set or in the keyboard needs 8 bits. It means 1 byte to represent one character. So we can we'll take the value in bit forms. Then we can perform the apply the bitwise operators. To perform bit by bit operation, the truth table for and, or, and not, or as follows. So we'll use address operators and logical or and caret symbol as follows. We'll take the truth table. We are taking the variables as P and Q. So the P and Q, the various combination is 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1, 1, 0. So if you apply the AND operator on P and Q, AND operator, address operator, it is P and Q or P and Q. If both are 0, the result will be 0. If any one value is 0, then the result will be 0. If both are 1, then only the AND operation will produce the result as 1. The same way, if you go for OR is equal to logical addition. So P or Q, or we can say P logical addition of Q. In that case, if any one value is 1, the result will be 1. If both the values are 0, then the result will be 0. While performing addition, 0, 0, the result will be 0 or 0, the result will be 0. 0 or 1, answer will be 1. 1 or 1, answer will be 1 and carry 1. 1 or 0, the answer will be 1. The same way if you go for carets, that is P carets Q, it is equal to exclusive OR. So what we will do, 1 to the power of 0, 0 and 0 to 0 exclusive OR 1, the answer will be 1. And 1 exclusive OR 1, the answer will be 1. This 1 exclusive or 0, the answer will be 1. So in this case, if both the values are 0, the answer will be 0. If any one value is 0, then the answer will be 1. In case of exclusive OR is just the complement of OR. Assume if A equal to 60 and B equal to 13, the 60 can be represented as like this. So here A is this and B is this. Say if you take the position value, we'll get. And if you apply the AND or B, if you apply AND logical AND on B, we'll get the answer as, if you perform the bitwise operation, we'll get the answer. The same way OR, if you try in program, you will get. The same way carets and complement, we'll get the bitwise operation. So how the bitwise operators are supposed by C language are listed in the following table. So if it is AND, the binary AND operator copies a bit into the result if it exists in both the operands. Say for example, A and B will give 12, which is equivalent to 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 0. Say A and will give 12. So while performing the AND operation, the answer will be calculated. Then the bits will be represented. The corresponding resultant values bits will be represented. The binary OR operator copies a bit if it is exist in either operand. So if both the operands are having 1, 1, then the result will be 1. Same as OR. And the same way, binary operator copies a bit to the result if it exists both operands. If both the results are 1, 1, then the result will be 1. We know very well AND means If 1, 1, then only we'll get 1. If any one value is 0, the result will be 0. The same way in OR operator, any one value is 1, then the result will be 1. If any one is 0, if all are 0, then the result will be 0. The same way, binary left shift operator. So the left shift is less than, and the same way right shift is greater than. So shift means just changing the position from left to right or right to left. Say A is less than 2 will give you 240, which is the equivalent ASCII value. The same way A is greater than 2 will give you 15, because the position is shifted from left to right. Say from the example you can come to know, they are taking the A value as 60. So the equivalent ASCII value is this, and B is 13. The equivalent ASCII value is this, and C is assigned to initial value 0. Then we are applying the bitwise operator and A bitwise operator B. So we are getting the result as 12. So while performing and A and B, what it will do, it will check for here 0, 1, any, because we are performing and. If it is and, any one value is 0, here 0, 1, so the value will be 0. 0, 0, the value is 0. 1, 1, the value is 1. 1, 1, the value is 1. 1, 0, because we have 0, so it is 0. 1, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. So while applying and, both are 1, then only we'll get 1. If any one value is 0, then we'll get 0 only. Here both are 1, 1 in this position. While performing AND on them, we are getting 1, 1. Then line 1 value of C is C. So here we are performing OR operation. So while it will check for, it will perform logical OR. So if any one value is 1, so we are getting 1. Here both are 0, we are getting 0. If both are 1, we will get 1. Here both are 0. In this case, in this position, bitwise position, here A as well as B both are 0. So we'll get 0 while performing OR. The same way, carets A, caret B, it is exclusive OR, just to the reverse of OR. The same way, complement, what we will do, the resultant will be just complemented. So here the bit positions will be just complemented. The same way, shift left and shift right. We are two bits we are shifting left, and 2 bits we are shifting right. So like that we can perform the operation on each bit, not on all the bits. One bit by bit we can perform the operation. The special symbols, what we can make use in the following are the special symbols that we can make use in C program. We can make use the special symbol or operator. This is used to get the address of the variable. Example, address of A will give you address of A. So we will make use of this address operator and this symbol along with the variables or identifiers to access the address where the value is stored. Whenever we create a variable in the memory space, memory will be reserved for the variable. So if you want to know where the address, in which address the value is stored, if you will say address of A, it will give you address of A. The same way, if you say address of name, the address where the name is stored will be returned. So the hexadecimal address position. The same way we can make use of asterisk symbol. This symbol is used to represent the pointer variables. This is used as pointer to variable. Example, star A means where star is a pointer to the variable A. So pointer is nothing but it's a variable. It is used to store the address of another variable. You will be studying pointers in the 5th module. So if you want to access the any variable through the address, and if you want to perform the process in terms of address, call by value, call by reference through functions, as well as adding and deleting the values in the array through address, that can be performed using pointers. And we have another special operator called size of. So it gives the size of the variable. Example, size of character will give us 1. So if you like to know how much memory space is allotted for a particular variable, say we are using int I. If you say at a size of I, then it will say, because I is an integer variable, how much bytes will be allotted for integers. What is the memory allocation for integers? How many bytes will be allotted for integer variable? So it will return the value as 2 bytes. And for character, the size of character is 1 byte. The same way size of float is 4 bytes. Size of double is 8 bytes. So whatever variable we are using in our program, if you like to know the size of the variable, we can use size of A. Size of is a built-in function. So that returns the memory allocation allocated for that particular variable. So in this program, we are using an integer variable A and floating point variable B. We are using a size of variable %d. If you say %d access specifier A, it will return the A value. If you say size of A, then it will return the how many bytes allotted for A. If you say size just %d A means it will return 4. If you say size of A is an integer, so it will return for integers. By default, integer means a short integer, so 2 bytes will be allotted. So it is saying the size of A is 2 bytes, and size of B, here B is floating point variable. So by default, short float, so 4 bytes will be allotted. If you say long float, then it will say, if you say the size of B, it will say 8 bytes. So to know the memory allocation for any variable based on its data type, we will make use of size of. Size of is a built-in function, and we will use any access specifier. The same way we have operators precedence. So the operators precedence is the privilege or preference. So precedence means preference, which say if you have more than one operation to be performed, which operation will be executed first. Say in an expression, I have addition, multiplication, subtraction, and division all put together in a compound expression. In that case, which expression, whether addition will be performed or multiplication will be performed or division will be performed in a mixed mode operation. So in the as per the C compiler, we have given some preference, and according to that, the preference, the process, the execution will be, the calculation will be performed. Operators precedence determine the grouping of terms in an expression. In a compound expression, in which order the operations are performed. This affects how an expression is evaluated. In which order the expression is evaluated, whether multiplication is performed, then division is performed. Certain operations have higher precedence. So some operations will be given higher preference. According to the preference precedence rule, the process will be executed. So here in postfix, if the operation is postfix, it will be executed from left to right. So if you are using brackets, the innermost expression in the bracket will be executed. Say if I have x plus 2 within brackets and y minus 2 within brackets, both the expressions put together in another expression, then the innermost expression will be evaluated. The same way innermost brackets will be evaluated. Then if there is any minus, plus plus, minus minus, that will be executed first. Then the unary operators like plus, minus, not complement, and plus plus type of and the size of operations will be performed from right to left. From the right, it will start executing, then it will proceed to left. The same way, if multiplicative operations are there, multiplication, division, and modulus, it will start executing from left to right. And if you have addition and subtraction, the process will be always, the expressions will be evaluated from left to right. If you are using brackets and curly brackets, then it will go from right, left to right. And if plus plus minus minus size of and type of operators are used in your expression, it will execute from right to left. The same way double equal to, not equal to will be executed first. So the operator precedence is first it will give for check for increment operators and brackets, that expressions will be evaluated first. Then it will check for size of and type of. Then it will start execute from right to left. Then so plus and minus will be evaluated. Then it will go for multiplication and division. Then it will go for shift operators, greater the left shift and right shift. Then it will check for the relational expressions that will be evaluated. Then it will check for double equal to or not equal to. And if your expression is having bitwise and bitwise or, bitwise exclusive or, and logical and, those expressions will be evaluated next. So this is the order of execution of your expression in a mixed mode or complex expressions. Say for example, the operator asterisk has higher precedence than the plus operator. Say here we have an expression 7 plus 3 asterisk 2. In this case, it will start executing from right to left. So it will execute the multiplication first, then it will execute addition, because the preference will be given to star. Here x is assigned 13, not 20, because the operator asterisk multiplication has higher precedence than the plus operator. So the first gets multiplied. So it will execute this expression first. 3 star 2 will get 6. Then 6 plus 7 will get 13. So the result will be 13. So according to the precedence rule, it will execute the expression. The same way, we have another expression with the variables a, b, c, d, x, y, z. We are assigning a as 9, b as 12, and c as 13. And here we have the mixed mode expression like this. So in the expression x, we have the operators like multiplication, minus, plus, as well as division. In this case, first it will execute. It will start executing from left to right. First it will execute C star 2, then it will execute -1, then it will be perform B /3, then it will be -2 from A, then we'll get the overall result. The same way, the innermost bracket will be evaluated first, then this expression will be evaluated, then this expression will be evaluated, then this will be performed, then it will go for complete. The same way, the innermost bracket, this will be executed, then it will execute the next innermost, then it will execute this expression, then it will perform the next innermost, then it will go for the complete expression. So like that, it will perform the preference will be assigned. Our next topic is input-output operators. Any doubts so far? So the input-output operations are used to read the value and to display the value in the C program, reading data from input device and processing it and displaying the result on the screen or the 3 tasks for any program. So we'll get some input, we'll do the process, then we will display the result on the screen. So that is the basic operation of any program. So we have 2 methods for providing data to the program, assigning the data to the variable in the program. So the input can be assigned to the program using assignment operations, say while int a equal to 10, b equal to 20. So we are not reading the input from keyboard. While creating the program itself, first we are assigning by using the input-output functions. 2 types of input-output functions are formatted input-output function and unformatted input-output functions. So here the formatted input-output functions are scanf and printf, because here we are using the access specifier as well as we can format the input function as well as output function, the way which we are getting the data. using /n/b/t, and we can add some message along with the scanf, and we can add some display message using fscanf. Scanf is reading from the keyboard, fscanf is reading from the file. The same way, and we have output function as printf. We can display the output on the monitor in a particular format using the formatting statements like /n/p along with some message. The same way, we can write the data into the file directly, not displaying on the monitor, using file printf, fprintf. The same way, we have unformatted input-output statements based on the data type. Say get C, just we can read a character through a character variable without any formatting. And the same way, get CH, so we can get a character. CHER means one character. Get CH means reading the character, and get string means getting a complete string, collection of characters. The same way, we have output functions like put C, put CH, put CHER, put CHE, as well as put CHAR. So these are the unformatted output functions, unformatted input functions. Get is unformatted input statement, put is unformatted output statement, and formatted means scanf and fscanf. Output is printf and fprintf. So how we can make use of these input-output statements? What is the main difference means? In case of scanf, function is used to read information, the standard input device. What is the standard input device for your C program? From which device we are getting the input? Keyboard. We are reading the input from which device? Keyboard. So the standard input device is keyboard. If you want to read the input during the execution through the keyboard from the user, then we'll go for scanf. Or if you want predefine the value, we will assign the value. So if you like to read the input from the user or from the programmer during runtime dynamically through the standard input device like a keyboard or mouse or through joystick, then we will use scanf. It is used for runtime assignment of variables. So during runtime, after compiling or while executing the program, while running the program, the user has to give the input. The function is used to enter any combination of input. We can give input along with the keyboard or through mouse, or we can choose the input, or it may be we can do the input in an integer form, character form, floating point form combination. The syntax is the keyword is scanf, and because the scanf is a function, built-in function, we should use opening and closing bracket, and we are making a complete statement. It is an executable statement. Every executable statement should end with a semicolon. So the semicolon is must, scanf is keyword, and opening bracket and closing bracket is must. So scanf followed by opening and closing bracket and semicolon. Within that, we'll use the statement. So here, if you want to display some constant message, so scanf formatting string, that message will be displayed. Then comma, list of address of variables. So we have to specify the address of the variables. Through the address only, we will read the variables. So if you are reading integers, we will use %d access specifier, and for floating point numbers, we will use %f, and if it is character, we will use %c. So the three different variables are read from the keyboard using scanf statement, and we are reading while reading the variable, we have to say the address, because if I am receiving some data, I should say where I want to save the data, whether the data will be stored in my C drive or in B drive or in a particular folder or in a particular memory location, in the first location or second location or third location. Because we already declared the variable, some memory will be allotted for the variable during compilation time itself, so that memory space will be waiting for the data. So if the memory is empty and it is waiting for the data to be stored, once we receive the data, that data should be placed in the respective position. The memory is allotted for the variables during the declaration time itself and based on the data type. Now, once we get the data, and the data has to be stored in the respective memory location. So while the syntax of scanf statement is scanf within opening and closing bracket semicolon, within double quotes, we will say the formatting string. Formatting string is based on the data type. If it is character, we will use %C. If it is a string, we will use %S. If it is float, we will say F. If it is long float, we will say LF. If it is double, we will say capital L, F. And if it is decimal, sorry, if it is integer, then we will say %D. So these are the basic data types what we are using. %D, %F, %LF, %capital LF, and %C and %S. Usually we will read the basic data types: integer, character, float, double, and string. And the variable should be called along with the address operator. While reading, we will access the variable along with address operator. While displaying, no need to specify the address. We can just read through the variable name. While displaying, say printf, we will say address operator access specifier formatting string. Then we will say CACH. No need to say address of C, address of A, address of CH. While reading only, we need to specify along with address. Address operator denote the address of the variable. The values received from the keyboard must be dropped into the variable corresponding to the address. So while storing only, we need to specify the address in scanf statement. While printing, no need to specify. The same syntax only for printf also, but printf, we won't use address operator. No need to specify address. If you say address in printf statement, it will display the address, not the value. So this is scanf statement. The same way we have printf function, the output data or result of the operation can be displayed from the computer to the standard output device. So the standard output device is monitor. Usually the result will can be shown on the monitor, or it can be printed on the paper using printer, or we can store the output in file. So if you want to see the output, will display on the monitor, your monitor screen. Or if you want to store the data permanently, we will store it in file. In that case, we will use fprintf. If you want to store the data in your file, C file, then we will use fprintf. Usually, we will like to see the result on the monitor. If you display the result on the monitor, once you come out from the program, the content will be erased. It will appear in the monitor until you touch the enter screen. Once you enter and come back to the program, then what it displayed on the monitor will be volatile. It will be erased. If you want to store the data permanently, then you need to use fprintf, file printf. Then the data will be stored in your file. So if you want to display the result on monitor, standard output device, then we'll use fprintf. Because it is a function, printf is keyword followed by opening and closing bracket. If it is function, main function or sub function, input function printf, size of function, scanf, everything will have opening and closing bracket. The function is used to output any combination of data. So we can display the same way integer, character, float at a time. So the syntax is printf keyword followed by opening and closing bracket, and it is a statement, output statement, semicolon is must. And within the opening and closing bracket, we'll have the formatting string in double quotes, comma, and the list of variables. The format string can contain characters, can be simply printed as they are, conversion specification that begin with %sign. So in formatting string, we will have %sign. Escape sequences can begin with slash. So if you want a new escape sequences like /n, /t, /r, /b, /v, they are called escape sequences, new line feeding instructions. And any variable on variables should have the percentage symbol followed by data type, percentage D, percentage C, percentage S, and no need to use the address operator, just we will specify the variable names. Say here we have an integer variable average, some constant value is assigned, float variable 69.2 PER. We are using printf statement, opening and closing bracket, semicolon. The within double quotes average equal to percentage D. So we are going to display /n. This will be displayed in a separate line because we used /n. Then percentage equal to percentage of. So this will be displayed separate and this will be displayed separate. The average will be displayed here and percentage will be displayed here. So while displaying the variables AVG and PER, no address operator. So if you say just AVG and PER, the values will be displayed. If you say address of AVG and address of PER, the memory location address, say 1000H or 2000H or 2110H, the address will be displayed. We should not use address operator while displaying or along with printf statement. So we'll use printf statement, opening and closing bracket, semicolon, the formatting string followed by the variable names. And managing input-output operations, unformatted input-output functions. Those statements are used to input-output a single or group of characters from the input-output device. So to read and display a single character or a collection of characters, we can make use of the unformatted input-output statements. They cannot specify the type of data that is going to be input or output. So in scanf and printf, we will specify the formatting string, percentage D, percentage C, to represent the data type. Here, the variable itself will have the data type. Say if it is getch, it means we are going to read an character. And if you say getC, we are going to read a single alphabet. So the function itself having the data type. So no need to use the formatting string along with the unformatted input-output function. Say getch function accepts single character from the keyboard. So get character accepts only one alphabet, A or B or 1 or 2. The character entered through getch is not displayed in the screen or monitor. So whatever we are reading from the monitor, that will not be displayed. If you use put ch, then only it will appear. And say the syntax is variable name followed by getch. Say if I say C equal to getch within double quotes or grade equal to getch. So I can give A grade or B grade, only one alphabet to the variable. Here the variable name is grade equal to getch. The grade may be any one grade, A grade, B grade or C grade. Or if you want to assign A++, S++, in that case I will go for getS. The same way getCHAR function accepts character type from the keyboard. Say enter key will to be entered following the character that you entered. After entering this getCHAR, it will also accept data from the keyboard. It may after entering the value, then it will wait for the screen. It will wait in the output screen. Then you have to enter. You have to press the enter key. Then only it will come back to the main program. It will show you the output screen for some time. The same way we have getCHE function also accepts only single character, but unlike getCH, getCHE displays the entered character on the screen. So if you say CHE, whatever you are entering will appear on the monitor. If you use CH alone, it will not display on the monitor. That will accept and keep it with you in case of getCH. If you say getCHE, the entered value will be shown on the keyboard. The syntax is same, variable name followed by getCHE. Say here, press the key to continue. Then if you press the key, it will go to the next line. The same way if you say getCHE, type any character, the character what you are typing will appear on the monitor. Say here in getCHE we are typing B, that will not appear. But here get CHE, we are typing the alphabet as W. Because it is CHE, it will appear on the monitor. Whatever you type, that will appear on the monitor. The same way we can make use get string. It accepts line of or string including spaces from the standard input output device. So we can enter the address, say number 5, Gandhi Road, Bangalore, like that. So it will accept 5 as well as Gandhi space, road space, Bangalore space, pin code. So you can read a line of characters, 40 characters it will accept along with spaces. It stops reading the character from the keyboard when you enter the key pressed. Until you press the enter key, it will accept. So the enter key is the delimiter termination. Once you enter the enter key, up to that, it means maximum it can accept 40 characters, a line of characters. So if you want to go to next line, we'll press enter, new line character, until we press the enter key, that will be taken as an input value. So this syntax is get s, get string, followed by variable name. The variable name, so get s is a function within opening and closing bracket and semicolon, you will read the value. Say character ch20, so we declared a variable ch, it can accept, it is an array of 20 characters, it is of character type. So collection of characters is called string. So ch is your variable name, or you can say ch your name of 40. So here name is a string. We can store maximum 40 characters, and it is of type character type. So we are, after declaring name, we can say get string ch or get string name. So this through this get string function, you can read a line of a complete 40 characters from the keyboard until we press the enter key. It will accept numbers, alphabets, special characters along with blank spaces. Say from this program, you can put ch the same way, get ch, put ch displays the answer on the monitor. See, your variable is character ch, z of 20. The value we assigned is welcome. Because it is string, it should be written in double quotes. Within double quotes, we'll write that this value will be assigned to z. If you say put ch z, the welcome will be displayed. The same way, put character. Here it will not display. CHER means put ch will not display on the monitor, but if you use put CHER, the welcome will be displayed on the monitor.
Ma'am, I request you to check the chat box, ma'am.
What?
Ma'am, can you, yeah.
What?
Ma'am, can you please check the chat box?
Yes, you all of you enter your attendance, and you got the notification for your exam. OET1 exam, when your OET1 exam starts.
12th,
Okay,
ma'am.
you enter your attendance in the chat box. Your OET exam for PSP is on 16th. Okay, I think you got the timetable for exam now. So your PSP exam is on 16th. Yeah, your portion is up to whatever we covered from up to this only. Okay, not from other topics. You will not get the questions from decision making and branching statements. You will get for G section students, the portion is up to input output statements. Put char, get char, put string, get string. You will not have, the portion is 1.5 units. First 1 unit and the second unit up to this, whatever we covered today. And we'll have one more class on coming Saturday. In that class, I will discuss with you the important questions, the pattern of OET1 exam, how to answer. So we'll have some exam tips on coming Saturdays. I think doubt clarification class. Okay. I will give you the complete tips about your exam and how the questions will be asked and how to answer the questions. What we expect from the students. You no need to write any story and unwanted things. So the exam instructions and the portions will be once again revised. the same topic we will revise once again. So your portion will be up to these input-output statements in C program. Okay, all of you answer your attendance.
Ma'am, the one you mentioned is this Saturday, ma'am, because next week we have our exams.
Yeah, coming Saturday only. Today is Thursday, now.
Yes,
Today
ma'am.
is Thursday 8th. We have, I will get a class from Parthiban sir on coming Saturday, 10th April, to discuss about the exam and to revise the topics.
Yes, ma'am. So we should log in into this class
The same
ID on
The
Saturday.
same ID only. Anyhow, I will message you in the G section.
Sure, ma'am.
So if you have any doubt with respect to the topics as well as any doubts as well as the exam portion,
Ma'am,
important questions.
the portion is C programming only.
Yeah, the same syllabus. First unit, complete first unit, and the second
Okay.
unit up to this input-output statements. If any question is asked, we will not ask you any question on the portions which are not covered. Okay, all of you entered your attendance, entered. So you just go through the input-output statements. If you have any doubt, you ask me in the next class. All of you answered? Shall I end the meeting?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So we'll discuss the missing topics, and if you have any doubt, you just go through the content. I already uploaded all the material. All of you joined in the Google Classroom. Those who entered your attendance, you can leave the class. I have, I think, 41 students now, your class. I think some people are pending because OET exam is based on that will be posted and accepted. Question paper will be posted in Google Classroom. Your exam papers will be accepted through Google Classroom only. So you must join Google Classroom. So those who are not joined in Google Classroom, please join. And I have posted all the material, syllabus, everything, and additional material, important questions, and question bank. Some sample questions will also be added in the Google Classroom. Okay. Shall I end the class?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Thank you all.